Well, Punjab Kings needed a big score in what's a must-win game for Mayank Agarwal's side. They've managed a big score after losing the toss. 209 is where that innings has ended. It's a tale of two sets of bowlers for RCB between Josh Hazlewood and Mohammad Siraj. 100 conceded in 6 overs without a wicket taken. Between Wanindu Hasaranga and Harshal Patel, 6 for 49 from 8 overs. We'll see where that game stands after Liam Livingstone's 4th half-century this season and his 3rd at the Brabant Stadium. He loves betting here. And Don Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by ICO 95G. We look back at that as well as a Johnny Besto special with Aakash Chopra and Daniel Vettori. Now, you'd think RCB would say, wow, that's a great last over. That keeps us in the game. Score still 209. Punjab happier?
Punjab definitely happier. I think they will acknowledge that the surface is very, very good. I mean, some of the stroke making that we saw off some quality bowlers tonight led us to believe that 200 probably is par, and they got to 210, so they'll be happy with that. But then they'll probably just think that last over only going for 3 or 4. And Livingston getting out could have propelled, if he didn't get out, they could have propelled them to 220, where they would have felt pretty comfortable about the game. This now, I think, is a very good game.
Very good game, but still Punjab with the advantage, Aakash?
Yes, slight advantage because runs on the board are always runs on the board, and somebody has to go and get it. 209, you're starting at 10s and over, which is never easy. You lose a wicket, you lose momentum, and you never know, a couple of overs just slip by just like that. So, in my opinion, I think it will be Glenn Maxwell. He could be the guy. If he gets going, he needs no invitation and he needs no like matchups or compulsions of the scorecard. For someone like Virat Kohli, he'll have to play a different sort of innings. Faf du Plessis will have to accelerate a little. But this is right down Glenn Maxwell's alley. It will be very interesting. And not to forget that Punjab's bowling is a little light. There is Rashid Dhawan, there is Harpreet Brar, there is Liam Livingstone. So you know what you're dealing with.
Interesting. Now, let's take that innings as it happened, almost chronologically. Start with Johnny Besto. It's the very best of Besto. Maybe you could say, Dan, for the first time this season, it resulted in a power play score of 83. And gee, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think he's one of the very few batsmen who could do that to Hazlewood, because that length that Hazlewood bowls, very few players can actually hit him off it. And it looked like Besto had a plan to take him over square leg almost from ball one and sitting on it. And the only times he slightly got in trouble was the fuller balls. So I think that was Besto at his ball striking best. I think when we think of Besto, we think of one of the cleanest strikers in world cricket, and we potentially haven't seen that so far. But when he was matched up against the Hazlewood, who's probably seen a lot of and understood how he's going to attack him on a very good surface, it looked like he had a game plan that was magnificent tonight.
I found that very interesting that you say he's one of the few, or maybe the only batter who could do that to Hazlewood. What's he got going for him? Because we have so many talented players in T20 cricket. Yet Besto can hit a good Hazlewood ball for 6, which not many can.
Well, I think he's prepared to take the risk of going across the line and understand that where Hazlewood's lengths are, and that he slightly sits back in the box, and he's got such a quick backswing that he can take that length ball on. And it's almost like he never overhits. When Besto's at his best, it's everyone just sits, goes, wow, how quickly did that come off the bat? And that's what we saw tonight. So I think he mainly set up for the length, and then his skill took over.
Aakash, you'd like to extend on that. I'm sure you love talking batting, especially on a day where Besto has started with what looked like just a punch for 6 of Glenn Maxwell. That 6 of Josh Hazlewood really got them going. What did you observe today about his ball striking?
No, Dan is absolutely right. See, Josh Hazlewood's strength is that extra bounce. For every other batter, the ball actually hits the top of the bat where the sticker is, and therefore you get nothing on the ball. But then when Johnny Bairstow is batting, he opens up his front leg, and he doesn't even go deep inside the crease. He's happy to just swivel and take that a slightly riskier option. But then that also tells us that there is a lot of merit in actually when you see Johnny Bairstow, when you see his best innings. There is a lot of merit in actually if you were to get hit down the ground, get hit over covers, because those are the lengths that might actually yield a wicket. But if he's on song and he's just cracking you, like smashing you square of the wicket on both sides, you know that your length is a little shorter. It needed course correction, which perhaps did not happen. So yes, sometimes it happens when there is like a tornado hits you. Even best in the business, someone like Josh Hazlewood, just forgets that, okay, just maybe a little fuller, maybe a little slower one outside off, make him drive. Those were the deliveries that were slightly missing as long as he was there.
Did he just lack the confidence to bowl that ball with how many runs he was going for? We look at Hazelwood in 2 halves. At the top, he's gone for runs. 19th over against Livingston, he's gone for runs. He's not had a bad game, arguably. Even in the game against CSK, we thought Shivam Dube really took him down, but he didn't have a bad day. Today was a bad day?
I think, like we said, Bairstow was one of the few batsmen who could do that. I mean, it's not like he bowled any different to how he has. It's just that Bairstow took him on. So you couldn't critique him on his lengths because they've been identical. It's just the Bairstow innings. And then I think the back end is probably the Livingston factor now, that to be good against Livingston, you've almost got to bowl perfect balls. And as we know, anyone can get taken down at the death, and it's even easier when it's Livingston. So it looked like he tried everything to Livingston, but he was just one step ahead and was able to take him down.
Okay, fair enough, but he did still have to come back to bowl some tough overs. Might look at this innings and tend to spend a lot of time on either Hazelwood going for the most expensive spell in this year's IPL or on Bairstow or on Livingston. But Aakash, I'd like to spend some time on Mohammad Siraj now. It's not just an off day today. He seems to be off colour this tournament. The wicket seems to have dried up. A retained player who was at his peak in white ball cricket not too long ago. What's happened?
Well, he's been completely off color right from get-go, and RCB must be disappointed because these were the surfaces where a lot of swing bowlers, seam bowlers, early doors, new ball, that's what has actually done the business. Even now, you see if you play at Pune, you will find someone like Avesh Khan and Mohsin Khan picking up wickets, Dushmanta Chavira picking wickets. So fast bowlers are actually having a field day, much more than the spinners. The pitches have been very conducive to fast bowling, but Mohammad Siraj, see, he's had off days. Let's be fair, he's had terrible days in T20 cricket. We know that if he goes, he can go for 15-3. He's that kind of a bowler, but that should be far and few between and should not become a norm. Low on confidence. He had a couple of decent games, but then he's not really managed to hit the right length, and he hasn't perhaps backed himself to swing the ball away, because something that Umesh Yadav actually did. He's also not your T20 gun, T20 bowler, but he's reinvented the wheel somewhat this season, where he was willing to pitch it fuller and see if the ball is swinging, and then the odd off cutter will actually produce that leg before dismissal. Siraj is very similar in style of bowling. His stock ball is take the ball away, then the slightly scrambled seam that comes back in. But then the length and the line, if you keep drifting down the pads and if you keep bowling slightly shorter, you will get clobbered. Siraj, I also feel, is also a very confidence bowler. If he's low on confidence, it's very difficult to actually lift him up. There are certain players, when they go through a bad patch, they just go through a very long bad patch, or rather very poor bad patch. That's what is happening with Mohammad Siraj. Disappointing for sure.
Dan?
I just don't think he's standing the seam up. Like last year, you saw him; he was able to swing the ball even in Test matches. I haven't seen him swing the ball once in the series, and it feels like he's just steaming in, trying to bowl as fast as he can, and he's not quite got that seam position. So I think at the moment, because of that slight lack of skill, he's just turned into a fast bowler, and it looks like he's charging in faster and faster. And good batsmen can just deal with it. So I think it's a matter of just trying to find that seam position again, because that brings his swing in, that brings his skill in, and that brings in the bowler that he was.
It seems so easy to correct? How has it not been corrected so deep into the season?
Well, I don't think it is as easy as you think, because of the way he's bowling and trying to bowl as fast as he can. He's just losing his wrist position slightly, and so you see a lot of scrambled seam or just a lot of off-kilter stuff. But Siraj at his best is moving the ball a small amount, but at his pace, it puts so much pressure on batsmen.
All right, food for thought for Mohammad Siraj and RCB, but let's spend some time on Liam Livingstone, who we are seeing the very best out of, fair to say, this season. And credit to Punjab for today getting his position and the timing of his entry right.
Simple as that. we hope for it, and we wish for it, and it was a delicate stage. They could have easily sent Mayak in at that stage, because I think it was when was it, 8th over, 9th over, something like that. So
7th.
A great decision by Kings to bring him in, and then we saw him repay that as well. You saw the innings that he can play. He can build an innings. He can get through some tough stages. He can get through Hasaranga, and then he can identify when the right time to go is. And this is where I think franchises don't give these players credit, that they can play two styles, and it becomes easier to play the the big hitting style once you've got balls under your belt. So Livingston just showed that he's not just the finisher, he's just the proper batsman.
Yeah, I mean, fair to say, Aakash, amongst his previous half centuries, all of whom have been great to watch, this is his standout innings of this IPL.
Well, you can say that because he came in into the seventh over,
Yes.
right after the power play. Vanindu Hasranga dismissed Bhanuka Rajapaksha. They had gotten off to a flyer. It's very easy to now just carry on with the same momentum, because you also know that we need to get to 220. The way he handled spin, I thought, was commendable. There was Vanindu Hasranga, there was Shahbaz thrown at him early doors, luring him into a big shot and a false shot maybe. So he handled them beautifully, and then just carried on with that momentum. And once he's set, he obviously hits the long ball. He's phenomenal when he's set. But then, as Dan has been mentioning, that give him balls to play. 38 balls is all that he's played, right? And you can play 38 balls only when you come into the picture at the 7th or the 8th over mark. If you leave it for later, you end up with 20 balls to play. And if it's just 20 balls, I mean, it's a hit and a miss. So I'd rather have him where he was today. And the more now it's very late in the tournament, but then it is the spot where he should be batting, and handles spin beautifully, unlike a lot of other English batters who tend to struggle from time to time.
Yeah, he's special, isn't he? Liam Livingstone. Tend to wonder whether the franchise missed out in not retaining him, the Rajasthan Royals, but that's a conversation for another day. I'd love to spend a little time on Vanindu Hasranga, on Harshal Patel, but perhaps we'll save that for the end of the game, especially if RCB do get over the line. Their contributions would be invaluable. If they don't, then it would be an effort gone in vain. Go back to Aakash's opening comments about Maxwell being dangerous, Punjab's bowling not necessarily being their strength. But with what we've seen of Harshal and Hasranga, what sort of plan do Punjab resort to defend this? They surely have to.
I think it's going to be tough. I think because of that weakened bowling unit. I mean, so much is going to rely on Rabada, Arshdeep and Rahul Chah being almost perfect tonight. And then they'll just deal with what happens with Rishi Darwin, Harpreet Brar, and Livingston is going to have to bowl as well. So those top three guys are going to have to be exceptional for Kings to defend this.
Harpreet Brar is taking new ball, I'm quite sure, because I could see Jitesh Sharma after the stumps. So that's going to happen. We'll probably stay on for a couple of balls to see if Virat Kohli's gotten off the strike or gotten a run. But spin to play a part, Aakash, with what we saw of Hasranga. To be fair, Shahbaz didn't bowl too badly either.
Yes, it's still even though the pitch is very flat in nature, it's still the second half or just almost the end part of this tournament on these surfaces. So there is some amount of spin available. And also Brabant is a big stadium. One side is actually really huge and deep. So if you can use that to your advantage, of course, why not? It's interesting actually. Harpreet Brar opening left arm spin against Kohli and Faf. Oh wow, they've really taken this matchup quite seriously.
Yeah, they have. He's going to start. I was just wondering to see, after what happened with Suchit in the last game, we just sort of played one, whether it would be any merit in Faf taking strike. Just, don't take the first ball, Virat. You've had 3 first ballers. Let me take the first ball. None of that between these two?
No one wants to admit defeat, so you keep with the constant and what you're used to, and maybe a little bit of superstition as well, playing the first ball.
Okay, that first ball has been dealt so easily and effortlessly by Kohli. He's off the mark, so we'll leave it there. Let's get a quick prediction though. Aakash, interesting game. Punjab to defend, RCB to chase, and will it be close?
It'll be a close game. IPL needs Punjab to win, but RCB have their slight noses ahead. I think DK to hit the winning runs.
Wow, okay. Aakash is going for 210 to be chased. Dan?
I agree.
You agree? Okay.
I agree.
Wow, no one wants to buy into my super over, but let's see if we get anywhere near that. We'll pick up the chat at the end of the game on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Q9 5G.